Welcome back to the My Practice, My Business podcast and YouTube broadcast, where we talk about real issues that matter to real dental professionals. Today's topic, ignorance is not ethics, when dental boards fail their own code. We begin right there.
Welcome, all of you fantastic dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business dental podcast show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now the host of our show, the clinical director and president at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
Today is part 2 of Ignorance is Not Ethics, when dental boards fail their own code. Today we're going to actually read and comment on a letter that Tracy formulated and did a great job on for one of the dentists down in Arizona that was being wrongfully accused of ethics. And I think it's important that everybody understands what is transpiring right now down in Arizona. And I think this is a great lesson for everybody. And unfortunately, we're calling you out on our social media platforms because, quite frankly, I never want to see this happen again.
No, I don't like people in leadership that don't know how to do their job.
And we're gonna comment as we go. We'll just call it dated October 28th, 2025. And here we go, part 2 of our series.
Dear members of the Arizona State Dental Board of Examiners, we are writing to express serious concern regarding recent reports that the board is attempting to regulate the billing and use of CDT code 9211. This is regional block anesthesia by a licensed dentist in your state.
After each paragraph, I just want to comment. I really want to comment right now, but I think we probably need to get further down because my blood is already boiling. Please continue, sweetheart.
From what has been shared with us and witnessed firsthand, it appears that several board members expressed uncertainty about this code, including comments indicating that they were unaware D9211 existed and confusion regarding the difference between regional block and local anesthesia. We want to respectfully clarify key points supported by the American Dental Association and the ADA's Principles of Ethics and Code of Professional Conduct.
I was blown away. This dentist, the whole premise was he took and ethically reimbursed a patient the way he was supposed to reimburse him. What really frustrated me is watching the board attack this dentist and attack him not on what he ethically did correctly. Instead, they attacked him on seeing the codes that he used to bill the patient for, which follow completely the ADA's principle of ethics and code of professional conduct. And that was so frustrating to me, watching the haughtiness of 2 of the doctors. I'm just going to call them out. You know, doctor, could you please explain to me the difference between local anesthesia and regional block? And it's like, sure, he did. And he had it prepared for him. We helped him prepare.
I don't believe that doctor thought that he would be able to define the difference between the two. And I think it frustrated him that he came prepared.
Yeah, very prepared. And I did appreciate about the board is they admitted their ignorance. But how embarrassing if you're going to attack somebody because you were prepared. You were prepared to attack him. You were prepared to go after him, and you knew nothing about what you were going after. And that's the difference. That's what irritated me to no end. So we're going to continue this because a simple AI search would have defined local anesthesia and regional block, which in other podcasts and broadcasts we've done, we have defined it. It's the most misunderstood and misused 2 codes in the ADA CDT codebook.
And in the letter, you'll hear a little excerpt of that.
Great. Okay.
Continuing with the letter here.
Please.
According to correspondence and published statements from the ADA's coding department, it is at the dentist's discretion.
Whose discretion?
The dentist.
Sorry about that. Keep going.
Discretion. How to satisfy and report the procedure code that best reflects the treatment performed. And in this letter, I referenced to the ADA's resources available for that. The dentist is responsible for selecting the CDT code that accurately represents the service provided, not the payer, not the regulator, and not a board member unfamiliar with the procedural distinctions.
I'm just going to say, those who know the least oftentimes yell the loudest, and you proved that statement true. Please continue.
And to be clear, just because you don't doesn't mean you shouldn't. The fact that some dentists choose not to bill for a particular service does not make it unethical for others to do so. It simply means those dentists are absorbing the cost, which is a choice, not a standard. And we saw that actually when they talked about
Commentary
on pharma.
time on that one, yeah. They literally said, what's this on pharma code? It's a sodium bicarbonate. Thank you very much. And some of the people on that board, I don't even think they knew what it was or what it did.
Some said, "Oh, I don't bill for that," and they tried to place judgment.
And then the two individuals who seem to control the board, they're like,
"Well, we do.
Oh, we would charge for that. That would be something you could charge for, but you can't charge for a CDT code." That's right there, plain and simple, right in your site. You can't charge for that. Okay, that makes sense. Continue, sweetheart. Thanks.
All right. The ADA has affirmed with us and many other advocacy groups that regional block anesthesia is a distinct and separate code that is not interchangeable with local anesthesia. The two codes represent different clinical techniques, indications, and anatomic regions affected. Not billing for either of the two when performed would misrepresent the service rendered and contradict the ADA coding guidance. The ADA encourages offices to code for what you do. This is online, people. It's very...
Sorry, we're breaking away from the letter now. It's hard not to comment on this letter in so many directions. Okay.
We've confirmed this statement as recently as August 28th, 2025, with the following excerpt received to us via email from the ADA coding department.
Which
Quote,
the ADA says, quote,
"The ADA's position is that a patient's record should accurately document all procedures delivered on a given date of service. Code for what you do is the fundamental rule to apply when documenting services delivered both in the patient record and on a claim submission. The guidance is derived from the ADA's Principles of Ethics and Code of Professional Conduct, specifically the principle of veracity, truthfulness, which is professional, not the state statutory or regulatory guidance. The principles are posted online in the American Dental Association's website under Code of Ethics."
Okay, let's just be very clear. You know, in your insurance contracts, the ones that you think you know everything about that you've never read, you know, according to your state laws, you know, the non-covered service law you have in Arizona, which you fully don't understand. Inside your contract, you are to code for every CDT code you do. I just want you all to know that if you don't code for local or regional block, you're breaching your contract. You're breaking it. And if you don't code for everything you do, you're breaking the ADA's Code of Ethics. I don't care what your philosophies are. This is a little salute standard that my kid in the Marine Corps taught me. When stupidity exists all around you, this is you. I'm telling you right now, I can't even imagine how that dentist must feel being berated by an entire board that is so ignorant to the Code of Ethics that they should be representing and the CDT code book and following the contract that you signed as a PPO provider, unless you're fee for service. And God bless America and God bless you that you don't have to take PPO plans, because most of us dentists on the front lines, we do. Let's continue with the letter.
Well, I want to say, as far as Code of Ethics, you're being hypocritical.
Oh.
You're telling the doctor that he's being unethical, but yet you're telling them to violate the ADA's Principles of Ethics. It doesn't work that way. So
Good
code for
point.
what you do. I don't get this.
Thank you, sweetheart. Excellent point.
The email on August 28th further read, "Delivery of regional block anesthesia is reported with CDT code D9211 by any dentist who delivers the procedure where permitted by applicable state laws and regulations concerning professional licensure. This is a separate and discrete procedure. When delivered, it would be documented separately in the patient's record and on a claim." So it's very clear in this email
Commentary now.
that regional block is not the same as local anesthesia. Neither is this an upgrade from one to another. It doesn't work that way. This is like...
yeah, it got brought up. Is that an upgrade? No.
No, it's just a different
procedure. And here's what you just reminded me. That entire board is playing right into the hands of third-party payers. It is third-party payers that have forced us, not dentists who actually understand business principles, code of ethics, CDT code books. No, many of us bill for regional block when as it's permitted, and local anesthesia as it's permitted. In other podcasts and YouTube broadcasts we've done, we have clearly pointed out what happened in 2000 when the third-party payers, the dental insurance companies, tried to have the ADA get rid of those two codes. And we know what happened. We know what's at the top of each category in the ADA, in the CDT code book, which is a bunch of garbage. What it comes right down to is, I can't help it. If you choose to be business dumb and not bill for what you do. And I can't help it. If you fall into the dogma of insurance propagation, of doing it for free, and then all the professors in the United States of America that teach dental students, and the altruistic dentists on the ADA board, which we had very, very good conversation with the executive director of the ADA a couple of years ago on this very topic. It's so amazing at how you've all been brainwashed, and I want to say brainwashed, for doing things for free. And that's why you continue to do oral facial images for free when insurances used to pay on them like x-rays. That's why you do asset bonding for free when we actually used to have it as a billable code. If you notice during the COVID pandemic, is it too soon to mention that? By the way,
I don't think so.
I hate that. Anyway, during COVID, isn't it interesting how the corporate entities in dentistry, the DSOs of life, went to the insurance company and said, look, we are using so much PPE that we've got to charge for it. It used to be a code until the insurance companies, again, forced the ADA to eliminate it because it stopped being coded because insurance companies stopped paying for it. So in our brains and with other consultants out there, well, if insurance isn't going to pay for it, then, why even code it? Why code it? Because it's the ethical thing to do. Why code it? Because that's how we get billed. Why code it? Because that's what medical does. Dentistry needs to take a step back and maybe follow medical a little bit closer in how they bill to be paid fairly for the services you provide. It's no mystery that insurance reform is the number one reason why dentists are leaving the ADA, and maybe it's because, why? We're not profitable. They're doing nothing against the insurance companies to help us be profitable, but we are. Here at My Practice, My Business, we teach you how to be profitable on PPO plans with insurance contracts and state laws, and how to read and understand them and how to be profitable. But heaven forbid that we actually teach that in a broad scope way. I'm done with my diatribe. Did I finish that okay?
Well, while you were chatting, I was thinking about the last email talking about how 9211, that regional block, is a distinct procedure. It's not to be combined in any way, really, with that local anesthesia. They're different codes.
Why not combine buildups with crowns?
During that time,
let's just combine everything.
During that time, they asked the doctor how he felt comfortable upgrading from local anesthesia up to regional block. This is not an upgrade. This is a distinct procedure. It's like...
Did it blow you away that they thought that was an upgrade?
It's like doing a surgical extraction and saying that you should have billed for a routine extraction.
That is a perfect example.
Going from a routine to a surgical is not an upgrade.
That's an upgrade. Everything should just be routine.
It's just
removing body parts from the human body is just routine,
procedure.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm going to continue here.
Why would it be surgical? All right, let's continue. Here we go with the letter again.
More with the letter here. Failure to report procedures actually performed undermines the ADA's principle of veracity, truthfulness, and it distorts the accuracy of the dental record. Proper billing is a reflection of integrity, transparency, and respect for both the patient and the profession.
Amen. I don't even have anything to add to that. The ADA made it very clear.
They did. Not billing for a service that was performed, whether or not that service is covered, goes against the ADA's ethical standard of accurate claim submission. We sincerely hope, I want to emphasize this. We sincerely hope that all Arizona dentists are encouraged to bill for all services rendered, regardless of coverage, consistent with these professional expectations. The ADA would undoubtedly express concern if a dental board advised any provider not to bill for legitimate CDT codes representing services performed in their office. To further clarify, I'm not even going to say anything.
Yeah.
To further clarify, regional block anesthesia is not an upgrade to local anesthesia, any more than surgical extraction is an upgrade from a routine extraction. They are distinct procedures with distinct CDT codes. The term upgrade implies elective enhancement rather than procedural differentiation, which is not applicable here. It's important to remember the history of anesthetic coding. In the late 1990s, dental insurance companies attempted to remove local anesthesia codes entirely from the CDT code book, arguing that anesthesia was inclusive to all procedures. The clinical profession rightly opposed this, recognizing that anesthesia is a fundamental, measurable, and clinically distinct part of patient care. Unfortunately, decades later, many uninformed dentists and their front office team members have stopped billing for anesthesia altogether due to manipulation by third-party payers. In doing so, we've allowed third-party payers to train the profession to absorb costs that should be transparently represented and billed. That behavior reinforces the very regulation and payer control that dentists so often complain about. It's ironic and frankly embarrassing that anesthesia is billed as a distinct service in every other healthcare discipline except dentistry.
I got a comment there. I put myself through school working EMS. Even after dental school, I worked Alpine Highland American Fork EMS for over 8 years. Medical bills for everything. And some people, dentists will say, well, yeah, but that's why patients hate medical, because they line item everything. Yeah, but they still pay their bill, don't they? They still pay the services that were rendered. And that is how we become profitable by procedure, is actually billing for the services we provide. And why that got lost in translation somewhere, I don't know. Look at optometry. You can have baseline ugly glasses, and that's what your insurance covers. But if you want better frames, lenses, contacts, those are all upgrades. That's what an upgrade is. That's what an upgrade is in dentistry. My goodness gracious. Delta Dental of 15 states has it right in their contract. And one of those states is Utah, California, Texas. I mean, we can name them all. But I'm not a big Delta Dental fan, but thank you, Delta Dental. We call you the D15. Thank you for actually allowing dentists to deliver the quality of dental care that they are capable of delivering, and letting it be the patient's responsibility to have that better care and pay for it. It is embarrassing. Absolutely. It just doesn't stop with anesthetic care. I mean, it stops with, again, like I said, oral facial images, PPE, acid etch and bonding. I mean, insurance companies remove stuff when frequency is involved. That's what they're looking for. And that's the thing that just drives me insane, how it's like, oh, I think I just want to be altruistic and include that in the service I provide because I provide a service. No, hence the name of our company, My Practice, My Business. It's a practice and it's a business. And this is why so many dentists go work for corporate entities, because they were never shown how to run their business, and there's no support entity on running the business, true support entity from the ADA. And that's why our training is so laser focused on business, state laws, insurance contracts, and eliminating the status quo that's out there.
When we fail to bill for legitimate services, we contribute to the erosion of our own CDT codebook. This is how codes like those for OSHA and acid etch and bond have disappeared.
I got ahead of the letter.
You did.
Okay, continue with the letter.
Slowly phased out because providers stopped reporting them due to lack of business training, lack of understanding of state laws, and improper coding. If boards and regulatory entities discourage billing for legitimate codes, it only accelerates the playbook of third-party payers and their deceptive tactics of forcing dentists to do free dentistry at their discretion.
Board members, don't complain about third-party payers if you are directly and indirectly playing right into their playbook, because that is exactly what we witnessed firsthand. Continuing with the letter.
Our growing independent national study to determine generally accepted practice standards, surveying over 600 dentists across the United States, found that 73% of providers considered anesthesia, both local and regional, to be a separate billable service.
Time out. I got to just interject right there. The dentists who took this survey, they all believed it should be a separate service. But when we first started doing the survey, they thought that it was saying what is currently being done, not how it should be. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to retake the survey, which we couldn't let them do. That number is higher than 73%.
Definitely higher. Okay. And we're going to see that number increase as we continue with our survey.
Exactly.
We've additionally confirmed that those dentists that answered the survey stating that anesthesia was a separate billable charge were in fact billing for anesthesia. This reinforces that billing for regional block is standard, ethical, and consistent with ADA guidance nationwide. In fact, many dentists throughout the nation have reported seeing an increase in reimbursement by third-party payers for both local anesthesia and regional block when reported additionally with services rendered.
Hey, Arizona board, should all the dentists have been paid for local and regional? Should they return those checks? Should they pay it back to the third-party payers? I'm just asking for a friend.
Or maybe they know something that you don't know.
Oh, what? Wow, that was so harsh, honey. Yeah. I have been so gentle this whole time. Continuing with the letter.
On a positive note, we were pleasantly surprised to hear a few members of the board expressed awareness of the direct operating costs and increased costs of goods associated with on-pharma use. This is the sodium bicarbonate that is used to buffer anesthetic. That level of understanding is commendable, and we hope those same providers also recognize that the same principle applies to all services rendered in the practice. Every material, medication, technology, and clinical procedure carries a direct operating cost that must be properly accounted for. Billing for those services is not unethical. It's essential for dental practices' sustainability, patient choice, and ethical transparency. Our greatest concern is that the Arizona State Dental Board appears to be taking positions that align more closely with insurance carrier behavior, such as bundling, downcoding, and restricting provider billing, rather than with the ADA CDT code and ethical framework. Insurance companies are financially motivated to reduce reimbursement. A regulatory board should not mirror these motives, nor should it penalize dentists who follow national coding and ethical standards. We respectfully urge the board to consult the ADA's coding department directly for clarification on D9211 and all CDT code applications. We respectfully urge the board to review Arizona's non-covered services law, which protects a provider's right to charge fair fees for non-covered legitimate services. We respectfully urge the board to consider the precedent that this decision will set, not only for the dentists involved, but for every ethical, compliant dentist in Arizona.
I just have so much I want to add through that whole thing, and then they wonder why membership is dropping. Again, it's so simple. Insurance reform and standing up for the dentists who are billing appropriately. And I'm like, why are they trying to penalize this dentist for following coding and ethical standards? Why? Because they have their own ideologies that sit right here again? Unbelievable. I'm sorry, hon. Continue. This was the best letter I've ever seen you write.
Our organization, along with other dental advocacy groups, is following this case closely and look forward to reporting the outcome across multiple platforms in our commitment to encourage transparency, education, and accountability throughout the dental community. This situation presents an opportunity for reflection. It's troubling when members of a governing board tasked with evaluating their peers lack understanding of fundamental coding principles and the differences between local and regional block anesthesia. Local anesthesia remains one of the most clinically misunderstood and improperly billed codes in dentistry today. In fact, a simple Google AI search on the difference between the two codes would have helped the board better understand the services, instead of asking the rendering provider to help them understand the differences in front of the dental peers present. To help, I've copied and pasted the information below for your review, and I'm quoting Google here. The main difference is the area of numbness. Local anesthesia numbs a small, specific site, while a regional block numbs a larger area by targeting a major nerve. In dentistry, local anesthesia, like infiltration, is used for single-tooth procedures, whereas regional blocks, such as an inferior alveolar nerve block, is used to numb an entire quadrant of teeth, lip, and jaw on one side. Local anesthesia. The descriptions are this. What it is. Numbing medication is injected directly into the tissue at or near the small area where the procedure is happening. The dental examples given: infiltration, used for a single tooth or a small area, often near the gum line. Topical, a gel or spray applied to the surface of the gum for very superficial numbing. How it works? It blocks sensation in a very localized spot. Use cases would be a filling on one tooth or a minor gum procedure. It goes further to define regional block. What it is. Numbing medication is injected near a larger nerve to block pain signals to a whole region of the body. Dental examples: inferior alveolar nerve block, numbness to all lower teeth, jaw, and lower lip on one side. Infraorbital and posterior superior alveolar blocks, numb the upper teeth and surrounding areas. How it works: targets a cluster of nerves, blocking a larger area than local infiltration. Use cases: multiple teeth extractions, root canals on one side of the mouth, or larger restorative procedure. I've attached the source also for them to look at.
I just want to stop right there because now I remember what I really wanted to say. This dentist that was being falsely accused of improper billing had the answers. They didn't want to listen.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
They didn't at all. They cut him off the entire time.
Yeah, continually cut him off. And, well, you're not going to cut us off. This is going throughout your entire state. And we hope that when you go to rule and pass judgment on other dentists in your state, maybe lose your egos and your haughtiness and maybe actually rule with humility and foundations of understanding before you start jumping to conclusions. I'm sorry, carry on. Wait, just have something to say. Yeah, I'm coming out forcefully against you. I'm not perfect. My wife's perfect, but I'm not perfect. But one thing I have learned throughout my career is you need to understand before you can be understood. And that's a principle, I don't know, Stephen Covey principle right there.
It's basic 7 habits right there.
Read the book. It'll help you with your job.
We encourage your board to view this as a moment as professional development, not division. Our team is always willing to share ADA correspondences, coding references, and clinical context to promote fair and informed oversight. However, we strongly encourage the board to also reach out directly to the ADA coding department, which is the official authority and proprietor of the CDT code set.
Not you. You're not the authority. Let's go to the source by which we all answer to in the Code of Conduct of Ethics. Sorry.
And that's what we do. We go directly to the American Dental Association for this information. So why wouldn't you do the same thing if you don't understand the code?
Again, a good reason to be a member of the ADA and your state association. Not impressed with the state association right now. Where was the state association in defending this dentist? Oh, wait, he wasn't a member. And guess what?
Why was he not a member?
Why was he not a member? There we go. Okay, continue.
In short, just because you don't bill for something doesn't mean you shouldn't. Failing to bill for services rendered weakens our profession and empowers third-party control. Ethical billing is not a profit motive. It's the preservation of professional integrity. Thank you for your time, for your service to the dental community, and your willingness to review this matter with open minds and open hearts. With professional respect, Tracy and Rob. That's
Rob and
us.
Tracy. Well, yeah, we'll have to, we're going to see where this goes. And I hope the dental board takes this letter seriously. And I hope that you do what's right. Just do the right thing. It's not that hard. And have a greater understanding. And here's the thing is, I applaud all of you for serving. I don't know if you get paid. If you get paid, how embarrassing. But I don't think you should or do. And if you don't, thank you for your service. It's not always easy to be in those positions of passing judgment and rendering those types of decisions against your colleagues. I get that. I understand that. But on the same token, at least let the dentist respond when you ask a question. That was so embarrassing for me to witness that. Don't sit there and ask a question and then you have this high and mighty already know the answer to it because you obviously didn't.
Well, and for those thinking that this was just this doctor, it wasn't. We were present for a few of them beforehand, and those dentists were treated the exact same. They were talked down to, and I was frankly just embarrassed for the whole experience to happen in front of our eyes, and the lack of respect that was given to these doctors. It was just appalling to me. So that's my number one concern, is you need to treat your peers with respect. Ask questions with good intent of understanding where they came from without passing judgment, as you said. And we do have offices and dentists throughout Arizona that do exactly what this doctor does. They bill fairly for what they do. They document all procedures. And they also are watching very closely to see how their board that's supposed to help them and represent them with the association, how they respond to this as well. And I know they're going to make some decisions based on that. And I hate saying it, but it's true.
You're right. Thank you for serving, though. I will give you that kudo. Thank you for serving. Thank you for your time. I want to thank all of our listeners and channel watchers. Thanks for being with us here today. If this sounds like something that's going on in your state, forward this to your leadership in your state. If you experience anything like this, don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll help you out because that's what we do. When it comes to coding things and billing properly for what you do, if you've breached ethics, that's a whole different animal. Don't give us a call.
Right.
But if you're doing the right thing, and you need help and support, we're here to support you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We hope you all have a great day, and we'll give you an update when we hear about it with this board's ruling. Thanks again.
Thank you for being with us today. Since 2006, My Practice, My Business has been teaching dentists and their teams business skills, dental insurance contractual protocols, and state laws governing how to profitably bill patients fairly for the need-based services they provide. What's more, we guarantee our training, unlike other dental consulting companies in the industry. Simply stated, if you don't increase your net revenue, we don't get paid. We call it dental consulting the way it should be. We believe there's never been a more important time than now for dentists to experience and implement our key methods, knowledge, and business training within their dental practices. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company and the services we provide. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the most profitable dental business training that you will ever experience. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.